I'm Rob Simmons. I was one of Phil's students, and I run the baseball pool that Phil created in the 1950s. Phil once said he was attracted to Michigan by the galaxy of professors here. The other speakers in this part of the program are indeed academic stars. I find myself in the position of Richard Lau when he shared a stage 30 years ago with Robert Lane and Philip Converse. As Lau said, think of me as a modest hors d'oeuvre beside the filet mignon and the lobster thermidor. I'm here primarily to discuss Phil's incarnation as Con. Phil bestowed every participant in his baseball pool with a 3-letter handle, and he bestowed Con on himself. The point of the game was to predict, as accurately as possible, the final won-lost percentage of each major league team. Shortly after Phil created his game, his friend Bill Gamson created the forerunner of fantasy baseball. This differed in that rather than make predictions on baseball teams, people made bids on baseball players. To keep the post office from thinking he was a bookie, Gamson called his game the baseball seminar. In contrast, Phil made it clear. He christened his creation the Con game. The perfect name for Phil's game, because he almost always won. Phil defeated his foes because while other participants tended to make their predictions by the seat of their pants, Phil used a precise black box statistical model. Phil's love of numbers was also shown as a participant in the Gamson game. Phil developed a measure of the efficiency of each participant's bidding. Bill Gamson remarked, "It was characteristic of Phil to invent important and meaningful statistics." Here is a story from Hank Heidowit about the serious fun Phil had with the Con game. There were times when Phil was a bit of a hermit, rarely seen during the workday. He would arrive at ISR a little before noon, take the back stairs up to the lunchroom, grab a sandwich, and retreat to his office. Kept the door closed, and the person who sat watch at his door would tell anyone who inquired that Phil was unavailable. At these times, the only people who could get admitted were those Phil thought would talk to him about the Con game. So, no admittance to a Warren Miller or an Angus Campbell or a Leslie Kish, but admission was granted to the current Con game commissioner or to someone Phil viewed as a worthy adversary or someone who could talk trash in an entertaining way. At the memorial service for Angus Campbell in 1981, Phil talked about a manuscript he and Angus had submitted to a journal. Phil said the editor sniffed. It was inappropriate to quote Shakespeare in a scholarly article. But Phil said, it was just me and Angus having fun. That is how I remember Phil. No one was better at what he did, and hardly anyone had more fun doing it.